Hello everybody. I think you can hear me and see me now, so welcome everybody. It is such a beautiful evening in Amsterdam. It's hard to believe it's October. It's 21 degrees centigrade. I forget what that is in Fahrenheit. It's probably about 75 or something. Hello Trisha, Catherine, Susan, and yeah, great, welcome. So, ta-da! Here we are in Amsterdam, and this is the bridge where I ended last time, and it's called the Torensluis. Now, it is a bridge on the Singel, as we know. Yeah, Susan, I'm just about fully recovered. That's from my back injury. I went for the brilliant massage yesterday, and yeah, that's really helped a lot 2 weeks down the line. Hey, hi Ben. Hi. So anyway, this is the canal that was the moat of Amsterdam. And over here was the city wall, and there was a semicircular tower over there. Hello Tony, welcome. And semicircular defense tower, nothing major, just a small one, and a little wooden bridge coming across here. And that actually led to some gardens and a rope walk where people used to make ropes. And that was owned by a guy called Jan Rode. So the gate became known as the Jan Roden Poort, the Jan Roden Gate. And then the city expanded, as we know, in 1617, and that little tower got a fancy top. That was designed by Hendrik de Keyser. And here's a picture of it. So have a look at a few things here, okay? You got the arches of the bridges, you got this little section here with the doorway there and 2 little windows either side. So let's go back in time, and here we go. And oh wait, let me just show you. This is such a beautiful boat coming through. Let's look at that first. Love these canal boats. They're just so elegant. It's not like I have ADHD or anything. I mean, just check out what a beautiful day it is. Unbelievable. Okay, back to work. Okay, so the Torensluis, and here we go again, second time. So here is an etching of what the tower became. And you can see in the photograph the arches, and just to the left of the arches you can actually see the little door and windows on either side. Now, the top part of the tower was used as a prison. I mean, not the frilly top, I mean the top of the stone bit. The lower areas by the soldiers where they stayed, and the provost of Amsterdam, like a military leader. And underneath there was a cellar. That's the 4th arch of the bridge. That was, oops, that was there, oops, there. That arch was bricked in because that had to be a support for the tower above. And in the French period, so that's late 1900s to 1813, this prison got such a brutal reputation that it was actually stormed by a mob, and the prisoners were freed because it just wasn't accepted how appallingly they were being treated. It was demolished actually in 1829, and that's because it was rotting. Now the bridge, let's get a bit closer to the bridge, was built, this one anyway, because remember there was a wooden bridge there before. Oh yeah, the time change. Yeah, and I was very slack about listing this. I had an incredibly busy week. So I actually only listed it yesterday. So thank you for noticing and turning up. And for those of you who are not in my and Lee's Facebook group, you can find a link in the description. It's called Mark and Lee's Splendid Amsterdam Adventures. And that's where we talk about all things tour related. You had a sudden storm in Surrey with hail, thunder and lightning. How amazing, crazy. Okay, but let's talk about this bridge. It's very wide. Built in 1648, bridge number 9. Bridges have numbers here. Okay, and you can get an idea of how wide it is. There's a cafe over there. Hello, Hillary. Welcome, welcome. The road going through the middle and a bit of sidewalk on the other side as well. It was intended to have shops on it, much like the Rialto Bridge in Venice, and this never happened. And the bridge is called the Torensluis. Well, what that means is the tower lock, the tower from the tower, but the lock is a bit of a mystery because there was never actually a lock here. Now, it was restored in 1961, and the reason for that, hey Donna, hi, lovely to see you, welcome, welcome. The reason it was restored in 1961, and there's the picture of the restoration, so that's how they go about it, was to make it strong enough so that they could have car parking spaces on top of it. How's about that? Okay. And when they were restoring it, actually they exposed the old foundations of the tower that was there before, and what they did is they outlined that in the street. It was a semicircular tower, remember? So they made an outline of it. There's a pothole behind me. Here in the street, so you can get an idea of the footprint of the tower. Okay. Now, let's just pull back here because I want to show you another photo. I'm loving this sharing of photos story. Okay, the other photo is here, taken from more or less this position. It shows, oh, it's taken from down here. Yeah, it shows a bit of the car parking. And look, look at that building in the background. The one sort of center right. So it's a building with a little tower on it. And this was the Twentschebank, it's so difficult to say, Twentschebank. That's Twentschche. Twentschebank in the background, that building there. So the one just there in my photograph was built in the 1870s. Beautiful neo-Gothic building. And then it was demolished to make this monstrosity. Can you believe it? I mean, replacing that sweet, lovely building with this thing here. Hello, Ronnie, welcome, welcome. And yeah, you know, the Twentschebank famously merged with the NHM, the Dutch Trading Company. And that was the successor of the Dutch East India Company. So they merged and they created what was known as ABN, the General Bank of the Netherlands, Algemene Bank Nederland, which then merged with the AMRO, the Amsterdam Rotterdam Bank, which is where we get ABN AMRO. Well, I'm glad you all think that, because I'm inclined to agree with you. Let's just cross over the road, get a bit of a closer look. I got, so yeah, this building. Okay, look, with this building, it's called the PC Hoofthuis. That was the famous poet. I mentioned him last week. His family had a house here, hence the name, and this is part of the University of Amsterdam, Faculty of the Humanities. It was built between 1976 and 1983. And there was a feeling then that the university had to be integral to the city, part of the city. They wanted students all over the place. There were like walkways through for the public, but of course we've been blocked out now. But just so you can appreciate its true beauty, here's a photo I put together from the city archive photos in wintertime, so that you can really see it. Now, at the time, a lot of people loved this. They thought, oh wow, it fits so sympathetically in with the buildings that are there, which presumably they must have meant the building on the right, which we're going to see at the end of this walk, which is actually an Art Nouveau building. To be fair, with the building on the extreme right, the other ones do fit fairly well. But I'm just not so sure. You know, the lighting inside is meant to be brilliant and wonderful. They're lecture theatres with glass walls and you know, it's all meant very, very light and airy and breezy. And I can see that. From the inside, it might be quite nice. But I still think it's a blot on the landscape. And complete agreement with you there, Susan. Absolutely. Okay. And one other, another thing to look at here. I can't possibly talk about the Torensluis without talking about Edward Douwes Dekker, who is otherwise known as Multatuli. Multatuli means, okay, first of all, a bit about him. He was a civil servant in Indonesia in the 1800s, and he was pretty offended by the exploitation of the Indonesian people by the Dutch colonials in the form of the NHM, the Dutch Trading Company. Terrible, terrible crimes. What happened is that the Dutch king, Willem I was putting myself on the spot here. Anyway, one of the Willems. He felt that the Dutch Trading Company, and he was its primary shareholder, its biggest shareholder, wasn't making enough money. So he introduced what was called the culture system into Indonesia, where the mother country, the Netherlands, took 20% of the Indonesians' crops and demanded free labor from them as well. And these people weren't allowed to leave their localities. They would be caught up in wars and famines. It was very, very brutal. And King Willem felt, I'm not making enough money, I need more. So he gave the company an monopoly in the opium trade to sell to people in Southeast Asia, to enslave them as addicts and like this guy and make more money. So yeah, great guy. Anyway, he was offended by this and he tried to change the system from within and failed, and he wrote a book about it called Max Havelaar. And this exposed what was happening. People in Amsterdam realized, like, hey, their comfortable Western lives are being underpinned by this terrible exploitation in what you could call, I suppose, the third world. And a lot changed for the better. There was a lot of way to go, obviously, but a lot changed for the better. And I just wonder how much has changed. How much are our comfortable Western lives underpinned nowadays by exploitation in the third world? But that's a whole different story. Anyway, so quite an important man. Multatuli was his pen name, and it means, in Latin, I who have suffered greatly. I suffered greatly in Latin for about 4 years. Okay. But he was obviously empathizing with the people he was writing about when he chose that name. There's the new church. Okay, no, you can't see it. Let me scoot back a bit. There's the new church on Dam Square with the spire sticking up there through the alleyway. Hey, I haven't zoomed yet. Let's zoom. Love this zoom. Doom, 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 doom. Okay. Now, I'd like to just pop us down a little side alleyway here. Look at this building here. It's actually, I think I might have said this last week actually, can't remember. It's from 1905. Looks so modern. Beautiful. Okay, little side street, a few things to show you. Hey, look, a window, I can wave. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hello. Okay. This is called the Oude Leliestraat, the Old Lily Street. Or maybe there's a few more than 3 shops. I have to show you Puccini. Puccini is not my favorite chocolate shop in Amsterdam, but it's pretty damn good. My favorite chocolate shop is Pompadour. But you can see Puccini put on a pretty good spread. And what I also wanted to show you here was a very famous coffee shop meaning we sell cannabis and hashish here, called Grey Area. It being, of course, a legal grey area. And of course, because weed is illegal here, but it's tolerated in coffee shops. So that's what that's about. Hey, here's Bella. Bella is my favorite dog in the center. Bella. Bella. Hello, Bella. Hello. You beautiful girl. Oh. It's so lovely having a dog that one can pet in the center of Amsterdam. There's one thing I hate, is walking past a dog and not being able to pet it. She had a predecessor, Benita, who was a beautifully well-trained dog. I played tug of war with Benita for years, and well, she became very old. And now Bella is only 2, and she sits there so perfectly. Here is the original duck store of Amsterdam. Okay. So, ducks, ducks, ducks. There's a whole lot of them. Ziggy Starduck, Harry Potter duck, all sorts of things. Hello. So this was the first duck store. I don't know why so many have copied. Sorry, I'm talking to some people live. And so this was the first one. So when you come to Amsterdam, buy a duck from this duck store. And I wanted to show you what's written on the wall. Can I just, thank you. It says, I'll read it to you. A rubber duck knows no frontiers. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate people and doesn't have a political connotation. The friendly floating rubber duck has healing properties. It can relieve mondial tensions as well as define them. So let me get out of your way. Okay. The rubber duck is soft, friendly, and suitable for all ages. I love it. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. That's cool. They're just closing up the shop. Okay, let's just say goodbye to Bella. Bye-bye, Bella. You very beautiful thing, you. Hey. Hey. Oh, look at you. You are just, and you're going to be here for such a long time. And we're going to be friends for years. Hey. Beautiful. And the other shop I wanted to show you, whoops, there's a bicycle barreling down here, is this one here. It's called De Afstap, and I need to read, I just got some notes about this. Here is a scarf, and this is so beautiful. It's knitted with mohair kid wool and silk mix, and it's called brioche lace. And let me just get some notes. I'll go to it. Where are we? Singel. Here we go. Popularized by Nancy Marchand. Nancy Marchand is the person who popularized this and made all sorts of patterns for it. Now, a scarf like this, they're all hand knitted, and they literally take weeks to knit. Weeks. And I bought one. I know she doesn't watch this, so I can say, for my mother-in-law for Christmas. It's actually in white and baby pink. And the materials cost 50 euros. And a scarf that took weeks to knit sold in total for 175. I said, like, that just seems criminal. I mean, how come? And they said, well, you know, if there was really a true labor cost put in, nobody would ever buy them. But they are beautiful. It's like wearing air. Absolutely like wearing air. Oh, and I completely forgot. Where Bella is a dry cleaners called Snow White. Because what better name for a dry cleaners shop? Isn't it just great? Anyway, back to the Singel. So, you know, and of course, as I said, a Thai street food and a Vietnamese street food. So it's a cool little street. There's a lovely Italian deli. I'm just passing on my left. So yeah, it's a good street to come to. Okay. Yeah, Susan is, I can't wait to give it to her. She'll love it. Okay. So, busy street. Okay. Now we have a few things here on the court. Oh, I didn't show you. I got sidetracked. Up here, I can't find anything out about this, the top of this building here. But it was really nice, so I took a photograph of it so you could see. And the photo's stuck. Photo is stuck behind the, oh, there we go. Check out this photo. So it's two male faces, but really high up on the gable, and then the lower one is, you know, a decoration on the hoisting beam. I just thought that was a really nice detail. Okay. There are not many gable stones on Singel, so when I see one, I leap on it. And here in this building, just give you an idea of what the building looks like. So it's Louis XIV's gable up there. You can see. And there's a gable stone here of a red mill. So as far as I know, in Old Dutch, it's de roer oliemolen, which means like the red oil mill. And there's the mill in the middle, and there's barrels on the left. And no one's really too sure why it's here, it's just here. It was a Louis XIV gable with these volutes on the side and everything. So it's all very much in the right period. And then we've got Bruning and Tunissen, which is a really rather handsome looking building. This is neoclassical style, so it's before they went completely bonkers. Well, it's not gone completely bonkers with eclecticism. It's kind of still, kind of vaguely giving a nod to the rules. But it's a really nice building, and it was for white goods, as you can see, witte goederen. And then the word underneath, broderies, is basically underwear and lingerie. So, and this one up here, I didn't get a close-up picture of it, but of course there's a big bunch of grapes at the top. And why would there be a big bunch of grapes? Because a winemaker lived here. Obviously not a winemaker in the Netherlands. I wouldn't go out of your way to drink Dutch wine. And then this is a pretty random little thing. See, you know, this is why I was so amazed. This week I thought, oh, this is going to be such a boring section of street. And then I walked down here and I had a closer look and I was like, oh my goodness, there are all these strange things here. And here is a gable stone set in another stone. So let's start with what's in the middle. It's the guild. This leads to the house of the Old Shoemakers and Cobblers Guild. It's very, very old Dutch written there. And their members repaired old shoes. They didn't make new ones, they repaired old ones. And in 1633, the guild bought a little house down this, what was still an alleyway here. And you see it's been bricked up quite high. But it was an alleyway, and it was called Ham Eaters Alley. I kid you not, Ham Eaters Alley. And the guild met there all the way until 1713 when they moved into De Waag, which is that castle-type building on the other side of town where various other guilds met as well upstairs. And then the grey stone is a memorial stone for when the alley was closed to the public in 1871. So, gedenksteen, memorial stone of the Ham Eaters Alley, Ham Etersgang, gesloopt van de openbare weg, closed from the public road, gesloten, closed in September 1871. It's just, yeah, but the cobblers of old, are cobblers like old shoes? Do cobblers also make new shoes? This is quite specific. You know, it's to the makers or the fixers of old shoes, which I think is really kind of quirky. And I just love the idea of it. It's hilarious. Okay, we're going to skip this building and head on to the next one, which is thankfully not behind scaffolding after my little surprise last week. By the way, if you like this, could you hit the like button? It helps, I'm told. And now I'm monetized. What I do is I don't monetize these live streams, because I could, but then it would show some of you an advert during the stream, and then you'd watch the ad or skip it, and then it would carry on showing you the stream, but you'd be like one ad's length behind the rest of the people, which I just think is a bit nyeh. So I don't switch that on, but I will still certainly switch that on after the tour. And I'm making $1 a day, so I'm going to be so filthy rich one day. It's amazing. So yeah, and I think if you like it, then it helps with, you know, what YouTube kind of thinks. So I'm going to suggest that to people. And of course, subscribe if you'd like to. So this building is called Drie Koningen over here. So the Three Kings. The building is also known as Epiphany. Okay, so this Epiphany is a Christian feast day. It celebrates the visit of the Three Kings to the newly born baby Jesus. An Epiphany, coming into the light. Now this building is a mix. It's strange, it's a mix of Amsterdam school, this lovely version of sort of Dutch deco, but also it's not very over the top Amsterdam school. It's actually got quite a classical structure to it. What I mean by that is, if you look here, there's this rustication, there are pillars here. Above the pillars there's capitals, there's the architrave frieze and cornice there, and then there's other pilasters that go way up. So it's actually pretty classical in its structure, but with the brick size and then the flourishes of detail that are very, very Amsterdam school. And it's quite a nice combi. Let's have a look at some of these details. We'll start down this end, otherwise I'll be walking backwards and forwards. So this is granite on this floor. These beautiful doors. Amsterdam school always has just the most gorgeous doors. Check it out. So beautiful, beautifully varnished wood, and then always some metal work like that. Interestingly put together metal work. Okay, details. Here we have two seahorses facing away from each other. Voila. And here is a pelican with two young pelicans. I wonder if there's a diminutive term for pelican. So there, and as I've shown you before and mentioned before, often the pelican is seen as a symbol of Christ, because it'll be piercing its breast and feeding its young with its blood. So that is an old Christian symbol for Christ. And here we have the Three Kings. Trying not to walk backwards into anyone or anything. So here are the Magi, or the Three Kings. Any reason that... No, I don't know about that. The seahorses. And above is the Star of Bethlehem. That guided them. So a very sort of religious feel to it. But why not just add a lizard? Although I think actually lizards might also be seen as some sort of Christian symbol, because of, or maybe is it lizards shedding their skins and rebirth? But anyway, there's a lizard, for whatever reason. And the last thing to look at down here is the staff of Mercury, of course. We keep seeing this all over Amsterdam because it was a symbol of trade. Yeah, maybe the seahorses had a disagreement and they were just not on speakers for a while. Okay, so an interesting building. And it housed financial services from 1922. until the Second World War. And then during the war, it was actually used by the Department of the German Labour Front. Okay, and after the war by the National Security Office, and that handled Dutch traitors and NSB members. NSB, National Socialist Movement, basically Dutch Nazis. So they would be handed to the organization that was housed here. And in the 1950s, it became the Labour Exchange, and then from the 1990s, luxury apartments. Fair enough. In the way that the city has become so residential. The remarkable entrance here. I found out some things about this house, but it wasn't terribly interesting. But it's still a beautiful entrance door. Check it out. Very, very tall entrance door. Oh wow, this is nice. Oh, sorry. Just about got run over. It's just, there are just people everywhere, bikes everywhere. I was almost run over earlier today as well. Look at this nice metalwork in the doorway here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Oh, I'm paranoid crossing roads here. Okay, let's have a look at this one. This was built as a paper factory. And I'm too close to that. Am I zoomed in still? No, I'm not. Okay, let's get further away. Okay, so this was built as a paper factory. However, excuse me, it wasn't all built at once. It's actually 4 houses. It was 4 houses, and I think that's pretty obvious. The first one that was taken into the factory is the one with the stepped gable. It's number 234, this one here. And then this one was added to it by the same architect. Okay, you can kind of see that. And then the ones on either side. So if your company grows, you just buy out the neighbors, basically. So Neo-Renaissance. We've seen a lot of Renaissance. The Neo-Renaissance, this is quite a restrained one, but a really typical thing of Neo-Renaissance is the mosaic brickwork under the arches. So I put together a little collage for you, and you can see, you know, how detailed it is. It's really kind of sweet little detail. Certainly adds interest to the building. Okay, there we're looking back towards the Torensluis. And what I'm actually walking on now is an auxiliary bridge. Here is the bridge I'm on, which is a temporary bridge. There's bicycles and pedestrians. And it's auxiliary to this one over here, which is on a street called Raadhuisstraat. Now, there are massive, massive renovations planned for the city between Dam Square, that away, and going that way. For those of you who know Amsterdam, it's from Raadhuisstraat here all the way to the Mercator Plain. And that is starting in mid-2024. So they made, and there's more of these. This is the first one. These parallel bridges for pedestrians in anticipation of those works. So, what on earth do you do with a really ugly temporary bridge in Amsterdam? Because let's face it, it's not going to win any awards. Well, public art, obviously. And what the artists did is they looked at bridges from the 1900s. This has got a vague feel. Okay, you see here, oh, that doesn't say the year. The year is the other side of it. But you see this little, how do you even call it, this thing It's got a bit of design style to it. It's early 1900s. And what the artists thought is like these early 1900s bridges often have mythical or whimsical creatures on them. And here is a picture of one. Here's an example. This is also in the center. So there's a bridge with this strange, marvelous kind of creature on it. Again, this is the Amsterdam school period, and the sculptor was somebody called, what was his name? Hildo Krop. And so what the artists who were given the job of decorating this bridge did is they drew on that, and they decided, well, let's make a bridge with an octopus design on it. So there's the head of the octopus there, and then all these tentacles going, yeah, blood fish. I don't know what it was, frankly, but there's the octopus. To be fair, I think it's prettier at night. I think it might light up at night because there are lights behind and it's perforated. But it gets dark so late now that I'm never here at night time. So let me read to you, because you know how it is with public art. Oh my goodness. The whole blah, blah, blah that goes with it. Okay, are you ready? The design is not only a work of art, but also a plea for fantasy. Amsterdam is, of course, magical in itself, and we hope that our octopus bridge provides that feeling. That the auxiliary bridge becomes a place where people escape reality for a while, and their imagination is stimulated. That they allow themselves to be carried away into a world where an octopus in the canals of Amsterdam is very normal. It's like, wow, calm down, dear. Anyway, it's pretty. It's pretty, I'll give it that. And over here is the White House. Now, it wasn't intended, the builders of this monstrosity here wanted to break down this White House here and have their monstrosity go right up to the corner. And thankfully there were protests and that was scrapped. And this Art Nouveau building, they completed it in 1901, and it's still here. Now, as you can see, sorry I keep doing this, as you can see it does actually fit in very well, or rather they fitted in the rest well with this one because they used similar colors and it's similar dimensions. So let's have a little bit of a look at this Art Nouveau. So, I mean, Art Nouveau is quite broad in what it covers, as you know, just like more like Jugendstil here. More German than, say, French Art Nouveau. But look, it does have a bit of the kind of the whiplash patterns. Octopi have never been found in the canals, no. Because now, well, maybe there could have been before, but I don't even, yeah, the canals are freshwater. Bit of that kind of whiplash pattern there. And check up here. It's a really lovely peacock design. That is such a beautiful period of design. You know, sort of Amsterdam School and Art Nouveau. That period, I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, now. A bit more of those really nice natural designs, and check out the detail here. The parrots, the parakeets or something on the side here. And they've got these either side of the door. I can't remember what they have on the side. Let's see if they've got anything else on the side worth looking at. We'll have to. Okay, oh yeah. I saw this earlier as I was walking by and I wasn't sure it was. It looks like a person having a chit chat with a snake. Pretty cool stuff. As you do. Oh, and that's Hermes. Look, winged helmet. Is that a winged helmet? Well, you can decide. Maybe the snake has just come down off the staff. Anyway, and Amsterdam City crest over here. These are 3 X's. Okay, let's head back, and I have decided to do something different with, try not to get run over, with the quiz question for the slicey. Oh, and I can put a slicey here, look, there's plant thingies. I didn't think there'd be anywhere that I could put a slicey, but I got one here somewhere. Here we go. Hello. But look, there's planters. Okay, so there we go. Just bend it back a bit. That's a perfect place for a slicey. Octo slicey. Okay, now as you know, I'm sure, I've been doing a quiz question, and the answer of the quiz is something that happened during the tour. So what I intend to do, instead of asking you now, I'm not going to ask you now. Okay. I'm aware that there's a delay for some people, that there's a longer delay and a shorter delay for other people, and I'm just worried that there's somebody who wants one and then you never get the opportunity because there's a delay on your device or something like that. So I will be home in about 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the question in my and Lee Facebook group, and the first person to answer there wins a slicey. Okay, so I thought that's just something to try. I think most of you are in the group. If you're not, you can find a link in the comments, in the description rather, and also links to my money stuff if you feel like buying me a coffee or PayPal thing. Otherwise, thank you for joining, and yeah, if you liked it, please like it. And yeah, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next week. Bye.